Who's your biggest cheerleader? That should take a nanosecond to answer. The harder question is, who's your biggest saboteur? That's what we're going to discuss today.
Hi, I'm Executive Coach Constance Howard, and welcome to my YouTube channel, where women are inspired to be the best version of themselves. Now, before you watch the video, click the subscribe button so that you can join this community of fearless women. And click the bell so you'll be notified when new videos come out.
It's easy to recognize your cheerleaders. Those are the folks who are always cheering you on. You know, they are always in your corner, wishing you the best. And when you win, they win. They celebrate it like it's their victory. So I want to know, who is your biggest cheerleader? Your mom? For a lot of us, it is your mom. Your wife, your husband, your partner, your kids? It doesn't take long for us to think about the people who are always in our corners cheering us on. The harder question is, who are the people who are not your cheerleaders? Who are the folks who don't want to see you go to the next level? Would you say it was your boss? Is your boss holding you back? I want to talk today about why I think oftentimes you are your biggest saboteur. You are the one who is really holding yourself back from going to the next level. How do you do that? Well, there are a lot of ways, and I want to talk about that today. So let's start with one. Are you the person filled with so much self-doubt that you don't allow yourself to go to the next level? When you are confronted with an opportunity, do you start thinking, oh no, I can't do that. That's out of my league. That's too hard for me. Do you self-doubt your way out of an opportunity? Are you a procrastinator? Do you wait until the very last minute to take on a project or a report? Now, I know that all of us procrastinate from time to time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the kind of procrastination where your project is due on the 15th and you don't start it until the 14th. You deliberately do things that would put the project, the report, the opportunity in jeopardy. I'm talking about that kind of procrastination. Do you do that? What about negative self-talk? Is your negative self-talk so negative that it prevents you from stepping out of your comfort zone? You know, psychologists say we have thousands of thoughts every day. 80% of those thoughts are the same thoughts you had yesterday and the day before. And here's the kick. 90% of those thoughts are negative, and they're usually negative against yourself. So it's a loop that just goes on and on and on. And it prevents us from taking that leap of faith, believing in ourselves, believing that we can step out there and achieve, believing that we are strong enough, smart enough, talented enough to start our own business or get that promotion, right? So what is your negative self-talk like? Think about the things you say to and about yourself. And usually the things we say to and about ourselves are things we would never, never, never think of saying to our friends. But we are comfortable beating ourselves up. Is that you? What about perfectionism? Do you wait until everything is perfect in your mind before you'll take the next step? I know so many people are like, I can't turn in that report until this is perfect. And really, nothing is ever perfect. As soon as they tweak one thing, they see something else they want to tweak or change. Right? They think, oh my gosh, if I need to do one more thing. We are so busy tweaking and changing that we're paralyzed and we never get it done. We never start the business because we're waiting for all the ducks to line up. We're waiting for the stars to align. And then, once that's done, that's when we think, okay, we will make that leap of faith. But it never really happens, right? And so you'll find yourself a year down the road, 2 years down the road, and you're in the same position you were, 2 years ago. Why? Because you're waiting for everything to be perfect when that's just not life, right? Overthinking. Do you overthink something? Do you overthink an opportunity? Do you overthink whether or not you should start your own business? Do you overthink, an opportunity? That's a real problem for some of us. We go over and over and over it. As there's a Texas saying that you go over it 4 ways to Sunday. Meaning you're trying to see it from every angle, and it's to the point where you never take action because you're overthinking it. There's a quote that says, "Don't overthink things." Sometimes you can convince your head not to listen to your heart, and those are the decisions you regret for the rest of your life. You don't want to overthink something to the point where you miss the opportunity, and it never comes around again. That would be heartbreaking. Do you ignore self-care? Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm going to get on my soapbox about this, because I think too often people think of self-care as a mani-pedi and a massage. No, no, no. That is self-maintenance. That's not self-care. When I talk about self-care, I'm talking about, do you fuel your body so that you have enough energy to think clearly and to move? Do you exercise? Right? Self-care is, are you journaling? Are you taking time to be reflective about what's going on in your life? Are you getting enough rest? That's self-care. Are you setting boundaries so that people don't walk all over you? That is self-care. The mani-pedi massage, getting your hair done, that's maintenance. That's maintenance. Self-care is when you really are nurturing and caring for yourself. Are you showing yourself compassion? Are you showing yourself grace? Are you giving yourself a break? As I said, we will say things to ourselves that we would never say to our friends. So I would say learning how to talk to and about ourselves, that's a form of self-care. That is true self-care. And are you doing that? So these are some of the behaviors and ways that we sabotage ourselves. We have self-doubt, we procrastinate, we have a horrible loop of negative self-talk, we practice perfectionism, we overthink, we ignore self-care, right? Which of these behaviors do you do? Right? And from time to time, I think I've done all of them. We all have. The point is, in order to stop them, you have to know what you're doing. And so I want you to be real honest with yourself. And I want you to reflect on your behavior. And I have some tips that I want you to try. I'm going to make this a challenge. I want to challenge you for a day or two to monitor everything that you do in a day. I want you to write it down on a piece of paper and how long you spend doing it. And when the negative self-talk kicks in, write it down. What started that negative self-talk? What types of things did you say to yourself? Right? When you started to procrastinate, what did you do? What triggered you to start, the procrastination? For me, a lot of times I'll have to clean the house. I'll have a big project or something due, and I find myself vacuuming the floor. And I have to stop myself. And, I recognize that is procrastination because I don't want to sit down and tackle the big project. So I want you to go through your day and really identify what it is you do, how long you spend on that, on each activity. What types of things do you say to yourself? What triggered the behavior? It could be something that happened to you in the past, and subconsciously it triggers fear. For some of you who have been following me, you know that, I spent decades in TV news, but I took a break in there to go into real estate. And it was around the time when, like 2010, 2009, when the economy imploded, and it took real estate with it. And as a rookie realtor, I was caught in that whole thing. There was just, my Rolodex was not deep enough that would sustain me through the dry period. And so I ultimately had to declare bankruptcy. Well, the thought of that is, when I'm faced with a huge decision, whether I'm going to go right or left, I think about that time because it was such a gut punch and it triggers such fear. And so I have to, when I'm faced with what I'm going to do, I have to realize where that fear is coming from. And I have to give myself grace, I have to remind myself that I did everything that I could, and that this was a national event. It wasn't something that I solely did on my own. But I have to recognize where that fear is coming from. And so you might find that when you start sabotaging yourself, it's really because you're really trying to protect yourself. You don't want whatever happened in the past to happen again. And so you start your sabotaging behaviors. So you want to reflect on, what it is you do and what triggers it. It also may be that you have a fear of failure. You just don't want to fail. And I totally understand that. None of us wants to fail. But the truth of the matter is that you're going to fail when you step out of your comfort zone. It's just inevitable, right? It's part of life. And you need to reframe how you see failure. So for me, failure is an opportunity to grow and to learn and to become stronger, to become more resilient, right? That's what a failure represents. It's not you. You are the failure. What you did may have not worked, but you have more information to do better, right? So you got to embrace that whole idea of failure is an opportunity for you to learn and to do better, right? And every time you try to go to the next level, you're going to make mistakes. So if you're at level A and you've mastered level A and you want to go to level B, well, you're at the bottom of level B. You're at the bottom of level B because you've never done it before. It may require that you learn new skills, that you handle yourself differently, that you have to learn more information, whatever it is, but you're at the bottom of that level. And then after a while, after you become stronger, more seasoned, and you learn the ropes and things, you become, more skilled at level B. And so you're at the top of level B. And so what happens? You got to go level C. You're going to level up, right? You have to decide, am I going to be a big fish in this little pond and not be challenged and not grow? Or am I going to always be, going to the next level, always seeking the highest version of myself? And if that's the case, you better get comfortable with failure. And you know what? Some people are afraid of success. It may be that you are, that success frightens you. And I know it sounds strange because we all want to win and we all want to succeed, but it can be scary. It takes you out of your comfort zone. You don't know what's going to happen next. Some of your friends may not, go along with the new and improved you, so to speak, So maybe it's you have a fear of success. Maybe something happened to you in the past where you leveled up and some of your friends went away, because your life changed. You were a different you. You were the higher version of you. There's a quote by Marianne Williamson, and you've probably heard it before. It's been attributed to Nelson Mandela, I think, in the past. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant? Who am I to be gorgeous, talented? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Playing small does not serve the world. It doesn't. So if you are thinking, if you have that fear inside your heart, you have to realize that you playing small does not serve the world. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve those around you. You want your light to shine as brightly as possible. You want to go to, reach your potential and beyond, right? That's what life is all about. You want to live with passion and purpose, right? You don't want to hide your light. You don't want to play it small. Everybody loses when you play it small. So you need to identify, what the behaviors are that sabotage your growth, and then recognize them and then eliminate them. You have to change your self-talk. I've already talked about that. That is so critical. You got to change how you talk to and about yourself. Start with your I ams. When I was making the transition from TV news into executive coaching, it was something I had never done before, right? I had to really work on that loop that was in my head that was saying, you can't, you shouldn't, you're gonna implode. I had to work on that loop. My bathroom mirror was covered with all these post-its about I am strong, I am resilient, I am an executive coach, I am a CEO of a business. So every message around me was positive coming in, and I only spoke positive words, right? And so it never, I wanted my mind to be so airtight against any kind of negativism that, these post-its were all over. I have a vision board here in my office, and it's covered with I am. It's I am ready, I am strong, I am proud, I am confident. It seems like, those two words have so much power. It's like, how could those two words have so much power? But really, psychologists say I ams begin to reprogram your brain. You tell your brain what you are. And your brain is it's like a computer. It doesn't say that's not true, or that's true. That's not your brain. Psychologists say your brain just takes what you tell it. So if you tell it over and over and over again with passion, and that passion and just conviction that you are these things, your brain is going to go, well, I'm this way. Right? That negative loop won't stand a chance. The second it starts to kick in, then your computer kicks in as well and starts with, no, that's not me. I'm strong. I'm resilient. I'm smart. I can do this. So I want you to change how you talk to and about yourself, and repeat it. Come up with a mantra for yourself. Repeat it all the time. I also talk a lot about this. I'm not going to go into the self-care one, because you need to develop a strong self-care plan, a real self-care plan, not a self-maintenance. I won't go back over that. I want you to commit to making a real self-care self-care plan. But I want to talk to you about your inner circle. Your inner circle has the ability to influence whether or not you'll go to the next level, whether or not you will take that leap of faith. You know, Coach Jim Rohn once said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Think about that. You are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So you better make sure that they are in your corner. They are your cheerleaders. You cannot afford you cannot afford to have a saboteur in your midst. Right? You have to make sure that everybody around you is somebody who's going to cheer you on, who's going to push you to be better, push you out of your comfort zone, speak words of inspiration to you, celebrate with you, and you have to do the same for them. You have to be the kind of person in your inner circle, right? You got to be the kind of person you want in your inner circle. So really check out who's around you. What do you spend your time talking about? Do you spend your time gossiping about Sally and she said and he said and I can't believe that happened? Because if that's your conversation, that is such a low-level conversation. Don't even entertain that. Don't even entertain that. Your conversations have to be about where are we going? Where are you going next? How are you getting there? What's your next big project? How can I help you? How can I put you in touch with people who I know? How can I make this happen for you? You know, how can I assist you? You know, and you're doing the same for them. You are all vibrating at a higher level than who said what. Right? I want to leave you with a quote from motivational coach Les Brown. I think this quote will really, inspire you. When I heard it, it was very inspirational for me. He says, "Get out of your head and into your greatness." Get out of your head and into your greatness. You know, you deserve the life you want. You deserve to live with passion, and you deserve to live with purpose, right? The world is waiting for you. Why would you hold yourself back? Don't hold yourself back. Please don't hold yourself back. There are so many people who need and deserve what you have to offer. So look at your behavior. See how you sabotage yourself. And see how you can turn it around. See how you can be your biggest cheerleader. And once again, I want you to get out of your head and into your greatness. Direct message me and let me know if this episode has been helpful to you. And let me know in ways that, what ways you sabotage yourself and what ways you're turning it around. I would love to know. So direct message me, and hey, don't forget to subscribe. I'd appreciate that. And click the bell. Make sure that you are reminded every time a new episode is posted. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time.